Hi.
Hey, Sunny, how are you?
Nice to meet you, Brian. I was like, oh no, I hope I have the right link.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was looking at the desk clock that I have and not realizing it's a few minutes behind. So it says 4 o'clock now, but I'm like, oh no, it's 4:02. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Now, where are you located?
I'm down in just outside Miami.
Oh, okay. I grew up in Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah,
neat.
yeah.
Great.
Actually, Plantation, which is a little suburb of Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah. Are you in North Carolina?
No, I'm in the Cincinnati area.
Okay,
Yes,
great.
yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How long have you been there?
Um, almost 3 years.
Okay.
So, yeah. I don't know if I would ever move to South Florida again, though. It's just so crowded.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
I kind of gone all the extremes. New Jersey was like the most crowded state where I grew up. And then Vermont,
Okay.
where I went to college and stayed for a while, was really unpopulated. And then
Yes.
here was just totally different story.
Yes. Yes. Hey, Amy.
Hi,
Hey,
Amy.
Sunny. Hi, Brian. How are you guys?
Doing well. How are you?
Doing well, thanks. That's a beautiful background you have there, Brian.
Thanks. Yeah, I've got to catch up on my seasons. It's a couple weeks ago. It was like that.
That's beautiful, though.
Yeah. Where are you located, Amy?
I'm in North Carolina, but I'm currently in South Carolina, North Myrtle Beach with my family for the long weekend.
Nice.
Yes.
So
Nice.
springtime is a thing of the past right now. It is pretty warm outside.
Yeah. It was in the 90s here today,
Oh boy.
but not super humid yet. So I was just realizing, like, wow, the sky is so blue, and I'm like, it's really warm, but I'm like, I can't believe it's not more oppressive. So then when I looked outside and realized, like, yeah, it's in the 90s, but it doesn't feel it without the high humidity.
Yes.
That
We were
humidity.
just talking with some friends last night about Florida and the heat. And I was remembering that September at the school bus stop was the absolute worst month.
Yeah. I think September has got to be the worst month of the year here.
Yeah.
When I lived in Vermont, it was sort of like that time of winter, like March and April, when you're like done with the cold and you're like, okay, just turn warm already.
Yeah.
But this is like the polar opposite, that it's like, okay, I'm ready for winter.
Right.
Turn the heat down.
Yeah, definitely.
But
well, thanks for having us, Brian.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for doing this. This is great. I'm just taking a quick look to see at the other attendees. Yeah, we may have one or two others join, but we'll just give it another minute or so, and then I'll do like a kind of like a quick overview introduction of STROLO-University, and thank our sponsors, and then hand it over to you guys, and you can take it away from there. So is it more like a presentation, and then
it's similar to what Karen did last week? Yeah.
Great. Okay.
But for PERTZYE.
Cool.
Yeah.
So we'll just follow it up with any questions or discussion afterward.
Sure.
Cool.
Grauthaus. And I work for Chiesi USA, and I'm thrilled that you're joining us this afternoon. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to learn about PERTZYE. So I will just get into it, and then if you have any questions at the end, feel free to ask. So, of course, with every medication approved by the FDA, there is important safety information that needs to be reviewed. Everything that I'm going to read to you here is pretty typical of an enzyme replacement. So I'll just get to it. Then we can get to the good stuff. PERTZYE is a prescription medication used to treat people who can't digest food normally because their pancreas does not make enough enzymes due to cystic fibrosis or other conditions. PERTZYE capsules contain a mixture of digestive enzymes, including lipases, proteases, and amylases from pig pancreas. PERTZYE is safe and effective in children and adults when taken as prescribed by your doctor. It may increase the risk of having a rare bowel disorder called fibrosing colonopathy, especially if taken at a high dose in children with cystic fibrosis who are less than 12 years of age. This condition is serious and may require surgery. Of course, you want to talk to your doctor about this as well. Take PERTZYE capsules exactly as your doctor tells you. You should not switch PERTZYE with any other pancreatic enzyme product without first talking to your doctor. And don't take more capsules in a day than the number your doctor tells you to take. Always take PERTZYE with a meal or snack and plenty of food. If you eat a lot of meals or snacks in a day, be careful not to go over your total daily enzyme dose. And also the capsules should be swallowed whole. Do not crush or chew the PERTZYE capsules. The most common side effects of PERTZYE include diarrhea, upset stomach, and cough. And some other potential serious side effects are irritation of the inside of your mouth, increase in blood uric acid levels, which may cause worsening of swollen or painful joints. And allergic reactions, including trouble swallowing or breathing, skin rash, itching, swelling of your face, eyes, etc. Call your doctor right away if you have any of these symptoms. Tell your doctor about all of your medical conditions, including if you're allergic to pork products, which PERTZYE is made from a pig pancreas. So that's it in a nutshell. Further information can be found at PERTZYEcares.com if you are interested in reading more about that. So first, I want to talk to you about what a healthy digestive system looks like. So as you can see here, the pancreas has good color. Everything is flowing like it should. And the pancreas releases pancreatic enzymes and bicarbonate into your duodenum. The duodenum is the first portion of the small intestine, as you can see here. The pancreas releases the enzymes and helps break down the food into absorbable nutrients after the food has been partially digested in the stomach. The bicarbonate is a substance that raises the pH of the duodenum to help pancreatic enzymes work efficiently to digest food. So you can see them there in the duodenum working. The intestines then absorb the nutrients into the body where they are used as energy. So this is what a healthy one looks like. So I want you to take note of the colors in this picture to compare to the next picture. So this is the digestive system in a patient with EPI caused by cystic fibrosis. So you can see the pancreas is a lot darker, and you can see in the duct that goes from the pancreas into the duodenum, it's looking kind of clogged. CF causes that mucus that coats and protects the digestive system to become abnormally thick and sticky. And this abnormal mucus can clog that pancreatic duct and cause damage to the pancreas. The pancreas can't release the sufficient amount of enzymes and bicarbonate into the duodenum. And because of this blockage that you see here, your body can't break down the food you eat as well as it should. And this leads to symptoms of EPI. So what is PERTZYE? PERTZYE is an enzyme replacement. Each delayed release capsule of PERTZYE contains coated beads called microspheres. So you see that little round ball that's called a microsphere. There's many of these in each capsule. They're in varying sizes, and they protect and they carry the three types of enzymes: amylase, protease, and lipase, which are normally made by a healthy pancreas. And then the bicarbonate is also in these microspheres. PERTZYE is, I just want to point out too, PERTZYE is the only enzyme replacement that includes this bicarbonate buffer. So how does PERTZYE work in your digestive system? When PERTZYE capsules enter into the stomach, they quickly dissolve and they release an enteric coated microsphere that is mixed with your food. The microspheres come in varying sizes to help them mix with the different size food particles. This is important because it may allow them to move with liquid and food at different times in your duodenum. So in your duodenum, you have several different, shapes and sizes of food and liquids. So the nice thing about PERTZYE is that because it has those different size beads in there, the microspheres, they will attach to the different size food particles, according to their size. And once in the duodenum, these microspheres release the 3 enzymes, the lipase, protease, and amylase, to help your body efficiently digest and absorb food. The bicarbonate buffer is released alongside the enzymes, which may help to increase the pH of the area around the enzymes. This is important because food coming from your stomach may have an acidic pH, which can damage those enzymes. So that bicarbonate helps to protect that. So PERTZYE comes in 4 doses. The 4,000, 8,000, 16,000, and 24,000 lipase units taken by mouth. And the FDA did approve the 4,000 lipase unit capsule to be used in the G-tube. And this, PERTZYE is the only enzyme replacement that you can formally use in the G-tube approved by the FDA. And many of your centers might have samples of these. So if you're interested in trying PERTZYE, you can potentially ask your center if they have samples that you may try it out. I'm sure you all know that you know pretty quickly if something's going to work. So a sample should be enough to know if it's going to work for you or not. I want to share this with you too. This is our patient support resources, which are really nice to know. So if your doctor does prescribe you PERTZYE and you ask them to be on PERTZYE or they decide to put you on PERTZYE, if you have private insurance, so commercial insurance they call it, there is a $0 copay every month that you fill PERTZYE. We also offer one-on-one support 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if you ever have any questions, you can call this number. Let's say you've been prescribed PERTZYE and your insurance doesn't cover it. There's a patient assistance program that you can look into as well. The other thing I want to call out here is the $75 360 debit card at the bottom right. This is a really nice benefit. So if you have vitamins or wellness items or bars or shakes that you want to purchase to support your cystic fibrosis health, you can use this $75. It comes to you as a Visa debit card. And every month that you fill PERTZYE, you just take a picture of your receipt, you send it in, and this $75 is reloaded on your debit card to purchase these items. So the nice thing is you can pick what you want to help support your health with these dollars. And the last thing is you can enroll in this program by yourself. So if you've been prescribed PERTZYE, you don't need your healthcare physician to enroll you. You can go to PERTZYEcares.com at the bottom of the page and enroll yourself into this program and get these benefits. Of course, these benefits, there are terms and conditions like every program out there. If you have a government-backed insurance company, such as Medicare, Medicaid, or TRICARE, it's not available for those health insurances just because they're government sponsored. But there are terms and conditions that you can read on the website. I won't read all these to you. And again, this is the safety information, just as a reminder, if you do want to check out PERTZYE and read more about it, you can go to the website at the bottom of the page, www.PERTZYEcares.com. There's a video there that you can take a look at that also explains everything that I just went through, which is real handy. But that's all I have for you today, and I'd just like to open it up for questions. And thank you.
That's great, Sunny. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So much information.
Hope I didn't go through that too fast.
How long has PERTZYE been around on the market?
It's been on the market for several years, actually. It before the enzymes were all pulled off the market, it was by another name, but it came back. It's been on the market just a little bit less time than Creon and Zenpep, but it's been on the market for several years. So you may have heard about it in that way.
Did it have another name?
In its
Right.
in its previous life, yeah, maybe like back in the day, you maybe heard of pancreacarb.
Okay, yeah,
That
yeah.
might sound familiar. So that was pre-FDA. So yeah.
Yep. And are there any statistics of how the bicarbonate addition to PERTZYE affects the utilization and the effectiveness of the product versus some of the others that maybe don't?
So the bicarbonate is, while it is, it's an in PERTZYE, it's an inactive ingredient, and it wasn't something that was studied specifically down to the what it looks like in the duodenum, but we know from what bicarbonate does as it functions in the normal system, how it impacts pH, but we do not have data specifically on what the impact is in the system in PERTZYE.
Okay. And I know, but from my own personal experience, that the issues of acidity and GERD are quite common in the CF community. I'm guessing, and please correct me or affirm, but I'm guessing that the amount of bicarbonate in the doses of the PERTZYE capsules are not necessarily effective as antacid, and are more focused on creating just a higher pH environment for the enzymes themselves to have better efficacy.
Right. So like if you think about the bicarbonate buffer for the enzyme, it's specifically localizing that pH right around the enzyme. Whereas if you think of like a PPI, that's affecting the acidity all throughout. So it's like a more of a macro solution to your entire body versus something very localized right at the enzyme, just specifically focused on, PERTZYE was created with a CF patient in mind specifically because of that. So it is that really laser focused application of, that pH.
Absolutely. And the assistance programs that you covered, Sunny, were awesome to hear too. That I know, for some of the more costly medications, the patient community really depends on the assistance of, reaching their copays or reaching their deductibles, and also being able to afford the extras of the extra calories, the extra supplementation, the extra vitamins, so that $75 Visa debit card is awesome too.
Yeah.
Is there like a patient outreach or patient support initiative associated with PERTZYE or Chiesi USA that would be a landing spot for the CF community to access these benefits, or is it pretty much just direct contact with the company?
Yeah, I mean, as we talk to our centers, we try to educate everyone as to these patient support opportunities. But certainly the nice thing about this program is that the patient can access it directly, right on the website, and sign up for it and enroll for it directly. So they don't have to depend on a busy center to do it for them. The only thing that I would say, and maybe Amy, you could back me up on this, I think the only thing that they need to do is, if they want to, if they're working through maybe a prior authorization with their clinic and their insurance company, we have a quick start program that will mail them 21 days worth of drug while they're working out the intricacies of the insurance, so that they will be on a PERT and they'll be covered. Your clinic will have to get involved in that process, just because it requires, an active drug being mailed to your house. But that is a nice benefit to have, and that's something the clinic will have to help you with. But
Yeah.
yes, yeah, the
Yeah.
benefits are great.
That's awesome. And so I imagine that it's primarily the social worker in the clinic teams that helps facilitate that access to that assistance if needed, and also getting patients squared away on the new medication.
I think a lot of times it's the registered dietitian that is doing that and educating the patients as to what's available. I find in most of mine, it's the registered dietitian or the pharmacist. So every clinic is so different as to who is kind of the point person on that. So I would encourage them to ask, who gets involved in these programs that can help me with that.
Absolutely. And I know that the update that we had last week on bronchitol, mannitol, one of the benefits with that product was the transportability and not needing refrigeration, and having a little more versatility with that product, also as a new option for patients that may not be tolerating the others or may not be having as strong of results. With PERTZYE, is there any particular storage requirements, like keeping out of sunlight or temperatures, or anything that needs to be considered while using it?
I'll let you answer that, Amy.
Yeah, it's similar to the other enzymes in that, yes, you don't want to leave it out in your car. You don't want to leave it in the sun. You want to keep it at normal temperatures, no extreme temperatures, because they can be subject to if it's left in a very hot car, you could have issues with your enzymes. So very typical to what you're used to. I think with all of your enzymes, it's a similar story for PERTZYE.
So living in a fairly warm climate and being the occasional forgetful person, if they were left in your car in a hot day, what happens? What is the detriment of doing that?
The issue is just that they might lose, they might not be as powerful. You can't be guaranteed that they are going to work as well as they otherwise would. So it's similar to like all of your products that any other medications, let's say, don't leave out in the sun or a hot car, because they might break down, or and if I can get an actual like medical response for you if you want to know, because I know that there have been some studies on enzymes and what happens to them when they are left in extreme conditions. But the bottom line is that they won't be likely as good as brand new. So if they were otherwise kept in normal temperatures, that they're going to be as effective as they ever were. If they're in extreme temperatures, you don't know that for sure. So
right. Nope, I don't need scientific data. That explains it.
We always offer that.
Yeah, absolutely. There was another question I was thinking of. The timing of taking the medication. Again, some of the pancreatic enzymes that I've taken throughout the years, always had the, taking it a few minutes before starting eating. And again, not going to name any names or point any fingers about who might be forgetful or not. But, I'm definitely on the wavelength of being a few bites into the meal and going, oh wait, I gotta go take my enzymes. And I've heard some mixed reviews that in a way that could also provide some benefit of having a delayed application that would enable the enzymes to function longer throughout the digestive process. But really, ideally, it should be beforehand so that the enzymes have time to activate and are kind of doing their thing by the time the food hits your stomach. Is there an ideal that would say like take some before and some during?
I think it might just depend on how long your meal is. So I've heard some cases where some dietitians might recommend if you're like a Thanksgiving dinner where it's going to be a really long meal, you might want to have some installments within there. But if it's a normal meal, I think, I hear from patients that they find what might work for them. But it's typically, at the start of the meal or within the first couple bites. But like to your point, so that they have time to actually start working and mixing with the food. But again, it just depends. I'm a really slow eater, so I might be a different case myself, right? But so I think it depends on the person, but I think typically with the first few bites.
Yeah, great. And is PERTZYE approved for all ages?
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm.
Wow, awesome.
Up into adulthood. Mm-hmm.
So for like really young patients,
Mm-hmm.
I know, again, when I was a baby, it was opening the capsules and putting the little beads into applesauce and eating it that way. Is that still kind of the approach for younger pediatrics starting on PERTZYE?
Or mixed with breast milk or milk or formula. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does it come only as capsule, or is there like a powderized version as well?
As a capsule, yeah. So you open the capsule and mixed it.
Okay.
Which is a similar process for the G-tube application as well for those patients. You open the 4,000 dose, which is the one that's approved for use in G-tube, and you mix it with applesauce, baby food applesauce, and then you administer it that way.
Okay. So you still take it orally to supplement the G-tube feed?
You can, so the G-tube can be administered through the G-tube. So you make and you can put it in to the 14 French and you can push it through the G-tube.
Oh, okay. Fortunately, I've never had a G-tube, so I'm a little unfamiliar with how it works, but that's super cool that it can go right in with it. Why is it that only the 4,000 can be administered?
So PERTZYE is it's the only pancreatic enzyme approved for use in the G-tube, and the 4,000 actually has the smallest microspheres, and so that's the one that was tested and approved and had the best success in being pushed through the G-tube. So that is the strength that has the microspheres small enough to fit through the G-tube, and that's why probably PERTZYE is the one that's why PERTZYE is approved, and the 4,000 specifically is approved for that use.
Yep, got it. And are the like 8,000? I forget. Was it 8, 12, and 24?
8, 16, and 24.
8, 16, and 24. Do all three of those higher dose capsules have the multi-size?
Yes, they do.
Beads. I forget, what are they called? Not beads.
The microspheres. Yeah.
Microspheres.
People call them all different things. Some people call them beads. You're not alone.
I'm like, you're not. Maybe you'll make a necklace out of them. Very small necklace. Have you had any, like, from your ladies' work in the field, have you had any like significant success stories that stand out to you of families or patients that that PERTZYE has made a significant difference for? Or is that something, I don't know, compliance wise, if you need to kind of steer away from
Yeah, I mean,
narrative stories?
what I can say is that, you know, every patient is very different, and we have heard success stories. I'm sure, you know, every company has their success stories, right? But we have heard success stories, and we do know that PERTZYE has a special place in a lot of HCPs' hearts because of that, and because of the options that it can offer to patients, and because it was created with a CF patient in mind. Um, so yes, I probably can't really give you too much detail, just to your point around compliance, um, but I am proud of the product. I know that it's made a difference for so many people, and I'm proud to be working with this product day in and day out and be able to share that with the CF community.
Absolutely. And is of the various enzymes on the market, is PERTZYE the only pancreatic enzyme that has the bicarbonate addition?
Yes, it's the only enzyme that does have that buffer of bicarbonate with it.
Do you know any guess why other competitors have not followed that lead, or is it a really complicated production?
Yeah,
addition,
it does add to the production, and yeah, I don't know why others have not followed on, but it's something that it was very important to you know, the creators of PERTZYE when they were putting it together and making sure that everything was going to be perfect for the CF patient. It's something that they felt strongly about, and so I don't know why others didn't have it, but it is, like, you know, if you think about it, an extra step in addition. So maybe maybe that's a reason.
Yeah, yeah. Is PERTZYE approved on a global level? Is it being used internationally, or?
So Chiesi only is commercially representing it just in the US.
Okay.
Yeah.
Boy, I should be writing these questions down. They're like piling up in my head, and then I'm trying to grab them before they slide away.
These are great questions, though.
Thank you. Gosh, I'm stumped on what the other question was. Do you guys have any questions for me?
I'm curious, have you ever taken PERTZYE? Or can't you say? I don't know.
I think when it was pancreacarb, there was a period that I tried it, you know, that I had been on one pancreatic enzyme for most of my whole life. I think when I was much younger, there was this pancrease, another product. I want to say that rings a bell when I was real little. And then I've switched a couple times, and I do recall trying pancreacarb in part of that transition. For me, I've been kind of blessed with a mild to moderate form of CF, and really have more respiratory than digestive issues with my CF. So all of the pancreatic enzymes that I've tried were effective, and I wasn't able to notice one benefit over the other. Where I did eventually land, and where I wound up, was really associated with the patient assistance programs that went along with it. That I think back at the time, maybe PERTZYE, there wasn't anything associated with it program-wise, but that really was the deciding factor for me in terms of realizing the additional support and importance of that support going beyond the pill.
That's interesting feedback. Thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, patient support is just that important, isn't it?
Right. Yeah, it is. I remembered the question I was stumped on before, and I was just wondering, is PERTZYE also used in other GI conditions beyond CF? And of that, just kind of wondering out of curiosity, like a ballpark of the amount of people that take PERTZYE, how much of that population is represented by CF patients?
I can take this one. So PERTZYE is marketed by the manufacturer DCI for other conditions. So Chiesi USA markets it, commercializes it for cystic fibrosis primarily. And cystic fibrosis patients are the majority of the patients for PERTZYE. And again, that is the focus of why it was developed. So it's really no surprise there. But yes, it is offered for other indications and other outside of CF, but it's just not something that Chiesi represents.
Gotcha. So, fun story about Chiesi that I've been working with the team there for several years, and over the past few years, we've gotten more and more engaged together. And 2 summers ago, after my wife and I got married, we did our honeymoon in Italy, and we were driving from Bologna, where we flew over to the West Coast to Cinque Terre. And on the highway, I was like, Chiesi! It was the mothership right in Parma. And I wish we had had more time to stop in at Parma. I don't know if you guys have been able to go on a company trip there.
Oh, if only, right?
It's a dream. It's a dream.
some of the food there, like, I can't imagine I could have enough PERTZYE in my pocket.
Amazing.
That's funny.
The prosciutto and the pastas and oh my gosh. My next door neighbor used to live in Parma and was telling me about like the time of year we were there, that there were like these special delicacies that I was dying to go try. It was like pear inside of pasta. I don't know, something so unique, but have to go back.
Yes.
It's amazing.
So thank you, Chiesi, for putting your mothership in an awesome place.
Sometimes as a joke, when I'm talking to the clinics, I'll tell them, PERTZYE is a pig product. So it comes from these very well-fed Italian piggies, and it makes them laugh and, think about it in a different way. So. Right.
Yeah. I don't know if you have a talent at impersonating an Italian accent.
I do not. Chiesi.
Yeah. Buongiorno.
There you go.
I'm the piggy. You will eat my stomach. But no, this has really been great and really helpful. One last question I had was in your work in the clinics, in the teams, are there some common questions or concerns or thoughts that maybe are not accurate that you've had to help patients that are looking at PERTZYE kind of get over these understandings or realize an understanding that is sort of a basis of a hang up of why they might consider transitioning to PERTZYE? Just didn't know if there's any common issues that you might be able to share, any words of wisdom for the population out there.
Yeah, certainly. I think that I think that anecdotally, what I've heard in the field from the people in the clinic is that, PERTZYE was the third to come to market. So their natural, instinct is to try the first two, Creon or Zempep. And then if the patient doesn't do well on those, then they think about starting PERTZYE, after that. And I think it's more of just a habit that, breaking that habit of always going to those first. But I think that, you know, and this is just anecdotally, once they've started on PERTZYE, they do see a difference, and they typically don't come off it. It's just late to start, just out of some habits. So yeah, I would definitely, encourage asking for it if you're not feeling better. And I think that CF patients, a lot of CF patients, from what I've heard, is that they are used to feeling kind of crummy and yucky. And so they're kind of scared to tip the boat and change things up when they, and I certainly would be too. So I think that plays a part in the decisions in the clinic, is they don't want to upset the apple cart if things are going what they consider to be well.
Right.
Yeah.
The old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yes.
But we have heard also anecdotally that that's where sometimes when a center does have samples available and they're able to, in discussion with the patient, if there is a need or interest there, offer just a trial of a product like PERTZYE, but without having to make any decisions up front, but just a trial of it for the patient to just see if it's something that will work for them without having to, make any decisions about their current therapy. That might be, it creates maybe more of a safer place to do so. It's maybe a little bit less daunting or scary or a big change prospect. Maybe it's just, well, it's a sample, try it. If it's not for me, then it's not for me. I still have my other therapy. So I've heard that that we do offer samples to clinics that can have samples, that has been a really good option for patients when available.
Yeah. And I imagine with pancreatic enzymes, if there were going to be a difference, you would feel it in the relatively short term, within that day or the next day, after taking it with a few subsequent meals.
Yeah, we've heard from some HCPs that they hear that patients know. Some, they give it about a week, but some might know within a few days. Some might take it a little bit longer. It just depends, again, on the patient and they're maybe trialing it. But I would agree with you. What I hear is that with enzymes, a patient it's your digestion. You'll know pretty soon if it's not for you or if it is for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think this is maybe my last question that is on the mental list. But with the release of some of the CFTR modulators and Trikafta coming out, and there being some significant weight management changes in the CF community, has there been discussion within your product team about the approaches in terms of dietary needs, caloric needs, PERTZYE dosing? Again, I realize all patients are unique and different, and it's going to be a case-by-case basis. But I'm just curious what the conversation within your team may be with the impacts of some of the CFTR modulators from a digestive standpoint.
Yeah, it's really great to see what's happening in the research community, the CF community, with the highly effective modulators, Trikafta, really changing things for the and what we see, talking to our HCPs. Again, everything's anecdotal. PERTZYE was around before Trikafta and these modulators, so we don't have data on this, so there's not much we can really say about it. But what we hear from our HCPs is that it's like, to your point, everything is so patient specific. Patients can have vastly different experiences with regard to their enzymes, with regard to their weight gain. I mean, a lot of patients are gaining weight, so that's good news. But with regard to their digestion, so some patients might still have digestion issues that they might still really rely on their enzymes, but maybe slightly differently. So it really, what we have heard is it's very patient dependent. But I think, to your point around diet, that's probably a focus for HCPs moving forward with their patients, what the diet looks like. I know that the CF diet, as it used to be, is no longer really the case anymore, as patients are, doing so well, which is just great news. But it's different. It's different times these days, but it's a very exciting time. So
it is.
Yeah.
It's pretty strange to have to use the scorned D word in clinic.
Right.
I might need to go on a diet, like, but the experience of obesity entering the CF arena is very real and is exciting, and it presents new challenges as well from a general health standpoint. But it does kind of bring me back to my teen years when I would come home from college and mom thinking she was complimenting me by saying, "Oh, Brian, you're looking fat." Thanks, I think. She's like, "No, it's a good thing."
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So I try not to keep that as one of my compliments for people.
Right.
So, well, this has been great, Sunny and Amy. Really, really enjoyed learning about various products and options for patients out there. Again, I think the name of the game for the CF community and doing so well is in having so many options. And that, like we've said a few times today, that the uniqueness of every patient is really dependent on having a diverse selection of products. And so I am actually intrigued I'm going to give it another try. I'm gonna see if I notice a difference. It's because it is interesting too, like trying to figure out now that I'm on Trikafta, like is my pancreas kicking in a little bit more? Am I needing a little less enzyme? I do notice that if I forget to take a larger amount of enzymes with a fattier food, that I'm not suffering as much as I would have been.
Mhm.
I'm definitely not pancreatic sufficient, but I think, trying out different things are the only way that you can know if there is something better than what you're on. And, like you said, if you're on something that's stable, the hesitancy to try something new, but the potential that you find something better that works more efficiently, more effectively. And if it doesn't, there's still your original treatment to come back to.
Absolutely.
So,
Well,
yeah.
you'll have to
We'll have to
report
keep
back
us
to us,
posted.
Brian. Yeah,
I will.
yeah.
I will. Definitely. And I will look up, is there any specific links that you guys would like any viewers to have access to that you want to put in the chat? We do have the video living on Facebook, and then also will be posted on YouTube. So I believe the chat comments carry over with that.
Sure.
But
I'll put our website, PERTZYEcares.com, in the chat. Make sure I spell it correctly. So very small on the screen. So that is our website, and yep, you can go there. It has a lot of the information that Sunny shared on it, as well as our patient support, how to enroll, all of the different benefits of that patient support program, the terms, conditions, eligibility, all of that. So a lot of resources on that.
I love it. This is great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you both. I want to respect your time and not chew up the rest of the day for you, but this has been really great and so informative, and I think a real benefit for the community to know yet another option in their resources and their toolbox.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, Brian. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you. And thank you, your whole team for such tremendous support of the CF Lifestyle Foundation and the STROLO-University. And I know we've got some interesting courses lining up for the fall as well. So hopefully we can have you guys back, and I'll give you my update then.
Yeah, be great.
Awesome.
Brian,
We'll
it's a
have-
pleasure.
What's that?
It's a pleasure as always.
Absolutely. Likewise. And I hope you ladies have a great rest of your day and a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. And I am going to stop the Facebook live stream to offer the live viewers our word for this class, which I just have to double check what it is. Got it. And then I gotta go back and stop Facebook. So thank you for viewing on Facebook. We will see you. And next class is at 6 p.m. today on well-being. So please stop in and join us at cflf.org/STROLO-U. And one more shout out, thank you to all of our supporting sponsors for this program, Chiesi USA, including Sunny and Amy and Eleanor and the amazing team there, Beatrice, Nestle Health Sciences, Translate Bio, and Kroger Health Sciences, or Kroger Specialty Pharmacy. Thank you all again for your contributions to making STROLO-University a positive, powerful, and empowering opportunity for the CF community. Where I am lost. Did I start sharing my screen? Did it stop? I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
There we go. There's my shout out graphic. Coming back, stopping Facebook Live. Take care, Facebook viewers. And our word for today is superpower. Superpower. So today's class is sponsored by the word superpower.
Love.
So that's the fifth word of our phrase for this week. Again, any viewers that collect all 9 words from all of the classes and can put together the phrase for this week, the first 3 people to do that will each receive a $150 gift card to Amazon Prime. And we thank you for your participation and your help. So definitely looking forward to having you both back. Sunny and Amy, thank you again, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Brian. Have a great long weekend.
You too.
Thanks,
Enjoy.
Brian.
Thank
Be
you.
well. Bye-bye.
Bye.